You may think that I know too much, but
Hi, welcome back to
now
my
it's
channel. My
not.
name is Kelsey. I am a graphic designer, brand designer, and today I'm so excited to talk to you all about how to create a cohesive brand. This is something that I studied in school by going to school for graphic design, and then now I've just been practicing through doing different freelance projects and helping people bring their brand to life. Talking about a cohesive brand, I'm going to be bringing up how to do it, what it is, and where to begin if this is something that you're just starting out with. It's important to have a cohesive brand, whether you're a small business or if you are a lifestyle blogger, or if you're a larger corporation. Either way, you need to have that cohesive look and feel, and it's just a great way to establish your branding and your business. I'm also excited to share the sponsor of this video, Envato Elements. I've used them a lot throughout the last few months on just assisting with different brand projects or personal projects, or just to market myself. And so Envato has all kinds of unlimited options when it comes to fonts, templates, mock-up, presentations, audio, video elements, stock photos, whatever you're looking for your creative need. They probably have it on their website, and all you have to do is pay for their monthly fee, and then you can download however many you would like, and you have the licensing for it as well, so you're able to use it in a variety of different projects and not have to worry about that. So I'll have all the information for Envato linked down below, and just thanks again to Envato for sponsoring this. First up, I just want to talk about brand versus branding, because they are two different things. A brand is what your audience feels and what you think, the emotion you evoke from your overall look and feel. It does make up so many different aspects, and that's where branding comes into play. But your brand is just really what you stand for, how you make your messaging, and just the feeling that you give across to your audience. So the brand is what your business stands for and the emotional experience that you evoke. So an example of this could be Chip and Joanna Gaines. I know some people will love them, they feed off of them, they're inspired by them, and there's so much that comes to mind when you think of their brand. Personally, I think of something that is approachable, like family, friends, inviting. You also think that they are cozy, they're rustic, they provide warmth in their homes and across all their different brands, because they have their brand at Target, they have their own brand within their Magnolia Farms, they have their different books, and so many different aspects that goes beyond their TV and just their socials that really has a cohesive feel across it all. So their brand is staying true to themselves with having that cozy, warm feeling. So I would just take a moment and think about a brand that you really like and those emotions that you feel when you think about that brand, because it is not by accident that you have that association when it comes to it. It's all about the strategy behind the branding, and that's where so many different aspects come into play. A good brand needs branding to really survive and thrive. Your audience will resonate with your branding, and whether they know it or not, you are creating that connections. And so that could be through the different trust and just the overall feeling that connects with your ideal audience and your users and your consumers. Within this, you'll be creating a conception that you know what you're doing, you'll create that trust with your audience, and people will just begin to resonate and want to purchase your product, develop with your services, or just follow along with you. Overall, with all of these, it's all about the storytelling aspect, and so good branding will help achieve that and provide that aspect to your consumers. So if you haven't noticed yet, branding is all about your audience, your goals, who you want to speak to, and how you can build that relationship with your client time and time again and create just a platform for you to have a good foundation. I'm just going to touch on 4 different aspects of what makes good branding. And so first up is having clear vision and messaging. This is so important because so many of the aspects I was just touching on is having that consumer that you're speaking to and having that person in mind. So you want to create reasoning behind why you're doing everything. And so think about the tone of voice that you're going to be using, and then also how you're going to be getting that message across, how you approach people, what your really purpose is behind your product or your service, what you're driven by, because people are connected to emotions, of course. And so if you can think about how there's purpose beyond just making money with your product or service, that really helps to create your clear vision and messaging that will connect with your audience. Within that, you're going to be wanting to just nail down your audience, your consumers, what they look like, the demographic, and that type of area. The second way is consistency. Consistency is so important when it comes to creating that trust with your consumer, whether they know it or not. Again, they'll be seeing the consistent elements. And so it's not about having the exact same template used over and over again, but it's about having those different color options that you're sticking with, or those different type choices, or the patterns. It's the overall package that you're limiting yourself and honing in on one type of look, style, approach, and you're using that across all of your elements. So that would be on your socials, on your website, on your different marketing materials. Whenever you're showing up as a brand, it's having that look in mind. And I know it's so tempting to go on Canva and want to use all the different fun templates that are just showing up on there, but you really want to nail down your look and keep it consistent. And so just sticking with something that you feel is true to yourself and not developing into all those different trendy materials. The third is your voice and visuals. So we talked about the messaging earlier, and so taking that message that you're using and again using it across all the different tones of your writing and when you're speaking about your brand, and then also having those visuals that you're able to use. So pairing those two different aspects that we started with and really making them come to life through the voice and visuals. I always like to provide my clients with different pillars, so that helps them to keep in mind when they're working on their brand. Fourth aspect, of course, is having the good branding. I know I'm a little biased because I am a brand designer, but I have seen it work so well for small businesses, and I see it come into play with larger businesses as well, or even just people that have personal brands. I see it work really well too when they're sticking with a consistent style and staying true to themselves, and that comes across in your branding. Style guides are really important. That's what I take my clients through. We go through a whole development of looking at the strategy, so I get into your head on what your consumers are, your goals, your audience, who your profiles are, what you want to be, your competitors, who you like, who you don't like, and just all the different elements like that. I want to create that foundation for you, and then I take that and I fill it in to how it would look through your mood boards, through your different type choices, your font choices, your colors, patterns, and developing different templates for you to use. And it all ends up in one beautiful style guide that you can take home and use, whether you're a designer or you're going to hire a designer, and make it really come to life within your brand. I do have a couple videos about style guides if you did want to see what those look like or see me walk through them a little bit, so I'll link those down below. And if you ever have any questions on that, feel free to drop a comment or message me as well. Next up, I just want to touch on some aspects of good branding. And so first off, this is taking into consideration good design and having those different design principles coming into play. This is an aspect that not all people will obviously look at and see, but just overall design principles include things like color, balance, unity, proportion, white space, hierarchy, contrast, so many different elements. I also have a video that touches on design principles that I'll link down below. Keeping into mind all those aspects, and it just makes the design come across as being well done. The same as whether you're thinking about this with brand design, graphic design, interior design, fashion design, really any type of creative service really needs this aspect to be able to be successful. Another aspect of good branding is having style that is timeless and not trendy. It's so tempting to want to be with all the latest trends, but the goal is to, again, stay true to yourself and be able to have that brand develop that is going to be working for time and time again. It's okay to rebrand, of course, but you don't want to be constantly doing this because your audience will get attached to your look and you want to be able to stand out with them. Lastly, of course, it needs to support you, so align align with your goals, with your target audience, with the message that you want to have come across, and just the overall emotion that you're going to be evoking with your client or your audience. So we've touched on so many great aspects, and the last thing I want to cover is what makes up these branding. So again, it's going back to the style guide, everything that's being included in there, the colors, the fonts, the patterns, the images, overall look and feel, and those are just your brand components. Lastly, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I really mean it. If you ever have any questions, please drop them in a comment, message me over on Instagram. I do try to look through those and respond as quickly as possible. And if you're interested in becoming one of my clients and going through this brand development, you can reach me over on my website and submit an inquiry form, and I'll get back to you that way and we can kind of chat through it and talk about the process. I do want to mention thank you again to Envato Elements for sponsoring this video, and thank you just so much for watching it. Please consider liking and subscribing down below, and I will see you in the next one.
I'm doing something different. Your name's been on my tongue. My cup's been looking fuller. You're picking my